Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Falling Upwards. I'm trying this new thing where I try to go more with my lower register and it's more chill and sometimes I think I'm really hyper when I introduce these episodes. But Maddie's not in a hyper mood, so maybe a chill mood is what we want today. How are you feeling, Maddie?
I'm sleepy. I woke up about 20 minutes ago. You need to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I never introduced myself.
You
Hi,
never
I'm
say your
Emily.
name.
I never introduced myself. Hello, welcome to the episode. Here's Maddie. Listen to her first, please.
Hi.
Do you have a mad news for us today?
Yes, I do. And that is, you know how when you listen to music, right, you get like chills if it's a really good song, right?
Yep.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Apparently, only half the population experiences this. It's called frisson, and it blew my mind. People just don't get happy tingles when they listen to music they like, or they watch a touching scene from a movie, or even look at really good art. They don't get any physical sensation from that. But I'm just well, where does it go?
This is the same energy that when I found out that some people don't ever have a train of thought, they don't think to themselves. They don't think in their heads. I had a friend tell me that. She was like, there are some people that they never have a train of thought. They never have when you're thinking about something and then you're like, oh, should I say you're in a shop and it's like, oh, do I buy the red ones? Do I buy the blue? You have that whole train of thought. She's like, some people just never get that. This is the same energy.
A voice, do you mean?
Yeah, there we go, yeah.
I mean, I don't always think in thought.
No, but there's something that's rumbling in there in some way. And she was like, yeah, some people just don't have that.
But apparently, frisson is linked to those who are more empathetic and emotionally intelligent. So yeah, if you have shivers when you listen to a really good song, thumbs up for empathy, team empathy.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you.
Can I add a bit of mad news this week,
yeah.
Please? As I'm sure many people in the world already know, Taylor Swift is releasing a new album, which actually is not the news. Yeah, which is not the news that I've brought to Mad News. What has actually blown my mind is the extent to which, so many businesses around the world, the new color scheme of the album is orange with mint green. And the way that I've seen businesses, within 24 to 48 hours of her announcing this news, change their color scheme, or to match the album that's coming out, or do memes to match. There was one company I followed that within 24 hours changed their logo to a glitter orange and mint version. And I was like, that is a level of cultural influence that I cannot fathom. That's when BTS comes to town and suddenly everything becomes purple. It's just just an album announcement will turn these companies into right, let's put out the orange and mint version of our logo today. Blew my mind. My mind.
Impact.
Can you imagine having that level of being I'm so my place in the cultural zeitgeist is so strong that if I decide to make my album cover a banana within 24 hours, businesses everywhere, not fans, not just the ordinary person, but businesses for whom they have employed people to create things for social media, will now come up with banana versions. That is a level of that is wild. So this week we have some lovely guests on the lawn. I was lucky enough to be at the premiere of Dongji Rescue, the European premiere last week. The film is based on the real-life Lisbon Maru incident during World War II that follows the story of Chinese fishermen who risked their lives to save over 200 British prisoners of war after a Japanese transport ship sank off the coast of East China in 1942. We managed to chat with one of the grandsons of one of the prisoners of war, which is incredible. And we got to chat to two of the actors. We will start off with Anthony Jones, who is a descendant of one of the prisoners of war. So yeah, let's give it a listen. How's it been going through this whole process, seeing the film get released? What's that been like for you?
But it's been fantastic. I mean, today's been an especially exciting day. I was at the National Arboretum earlier where King Charles and Queen Camilla were, obviously honouring the men VJ Day, 80 years on, and now to come to this screening, which will hopefully, again, shine a real spotlight on an untold story of World War II.
Even today, we're seeing so many conflicts kind of being broadcast in 4K in front of us. What do you hope this story brings to the conversation about humanity and about how we work together?
It's really important this story is remembered. My grandfather was on board the Lisbon Maru. He was a survivor of the Lisbon Maru. My gran used to tell me tales about him. He had no hatred towards the Japanese, despite the way he was tortured once being recaptured. What he wanted was peace on earth and peace in the world. Right now, the world is more volatile than it's been in a long, long time. And the only way that we're going to achieve any kind of peace is to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes of the past. Obviously, this is a story, so I hope that they go and look at the real events of the Lisbon Maru in 1942. They can do that by watching Fangly's documentary or by going on our website, which is lisbonmaru.org.uk, and look at the real men. There was 1,816 men on board that ship, each of them with their own unique story. So it's really important that we respect those men and capture as much of those moments as we can.
That's incredible. He wouldn't have been there speaking to you, without the kindness of volunteers,
Yeah. People that didn't have to.
Amidst, a scenario that was obviously dangerous for them. Amidst these places and times in history that are just so full of war and hatred. And, as he said, we see it today, which is crazy because you think that all the trauma of these wars would have sort of stopped anything like that ever happening again, but our world is still hateful and war torn. Everything that goes on is devastating and it lasts for generations, but on the contrast, the effects are something positive, like a rescue effort also has length that goes on for generations, like we said, he wouldn't have been speaking to you, that would have wiped out families, that would have, not just the people on board, and it was just because of kindness, there isn't much of it in the world, but even when there's just a tiny nugget of kindness, it goes far, it really does. And it's important.
Absolutely. Well, we also had the amazing producer and actress Liang Jing chat to us for a little bit. So yeah, let's give a listen. Firstly, congratulations on the film. I hope you're very proud with the massive turnout for it. What was the process for developing the film like for you, and do you have any special memories?
其实水下拍摄非常非常难，水下的，对，因为在全球来讲，真人在水下，这么长时间的拍摄是很难做到的。然后我们刚好又是 IMAX。支持我们来拍摄，所以从 IMAX 机器和演员的配合，包括怎么样在水里做到细微的表情变化和准确的表演，都是非常难的。
Actually, the shooting experience under sea was a big challenge for us and was really, really memorable. We know that around the world, there were really, really rare examples of shooting under sea for such a long time with real person actors and actresses. And especially we used IMAX equipment shooting under sea. So that involved the cooperation between humans and machines. It was also a very challenging part. We also need to make sure that we capture the very detailed facial expression changes of the actors and actresses and to capture the most authentic and accurate body movement for them.
So, I'm sorry, I guess I didn't have this in my head properly. So when the rescue occurred, was it sinking?
Yes.
So they were underwater?
Yes. They were in the sea. There was much sea involved.
Much sea. But but how do you even save all those people if like they're already sinking? It doesn't take long to drown.
No. I that's why I think in real life it was something like over 1,800 prisoners of war were there, and most of them were not saved. They managed to save a lot of them, but they didn't save all of them because it doesn't take long to drown.
Because they're in the sea.
It does not take a long time to drown. No, so they filmed a lot of it underwater.
And they were like locked up, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay. So they didn't do it with like effects. They actually filmed everyone underwater.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Can you imagine spending that much time in the water every day for your job and you're not a swimmer?
I don't have the lungs for that.
No. I feel like only swimmers and divers would relish that much time in the water. And don't forget, they're all in costume as well, so they've all got hair and makeup and shoes and
what's the point of doing makeup if you're underwater? Well? It's just gonna
because like say if you've got a bruise. No, but they can use like really heavy duty stage makeup and stuff
film.
That really stays on.
That is so intriguing that they filmed it underwater. Like the pruning of your fingers, you know?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Can you imagine that for hours? For hours. Oh my goodness.
And like the pressure on your ears and like your You're
making me cringe thinking about it. I'll be honest, up until this moment I hadn't thought about how stressful it would be to spend that much time underwater. And now that's all I can think about.
I have had my fair share of underwater experiences, so I think that's why I think of these things.
We have a massive Asian and Chinese diaspora here in the UK and in Europe. What does it mean to you to be able to bring this film to audiences over here?
肯定是想让这个故事让更多的人看见，因为之前我就有一部我制作的电影《Black Dog》就在欧洲有非常非常好的反响，也是管虎导演导的。那我觉得那一部是相对文艺一些的，那他这一部就相对商业一些的，同时也能够更怎么说呢？展现了在83年前的我们中国人前辈的那种淳朴和勇敢。对，这个是我想做的事儿。
I think the story itself worth telling, and it should be seen by people around the world. Actually, a few years ago, I had another production, The Black Dog. Last year, I had another production, Black Dog. It was also screened in the Europe, and it received very, very positive feedbacks. So for this one, the Black Dog was also directed by Guan Hu. So I think for this one, it's quite different from the last production. Black Dog was quite artistic, and this one is more like a commercial production. I believe that it's worth our efforts to bring a story from 83 years ago to show what happened, what those Chinese predecessors did, to show their very innate goodness, their bravery, and their very intrinsic human nature.
What's your favorite failure?
放弃了自己的直觉。
I let go of my instinct.
That's beautiful.
因为很多时候你的第一直觉是最准确的。
那您是放弃了它？
对，这不是说失败之书。
对啊。So I learned that usually your first instinct was always the most accurate one, the most correct one. But my biggest failure was that I let it go.
就是不够坚持。
I know that I should insist more, be more dedicated, and believe myself more.
That is quite meaningful.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I will say, I don't always think my first instincts are right. So that means that her first instincts are very good. I've had first instincts sometimes that are terrible. I think it depends who you are as a person.
Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But I don't think you can swear by it. Because, you know, like, sometimes you can just have this really random bad impression from someone. But then, like, you get to know them and, like, your instincts were totally wrong. They're great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, hers a top top instincts, so she should just live by those.
We also managed to get the wonderful William Franklyn-Miller on the lawn. I said to Maddie, I did want to mention this before we listened to him, that he had been, I think at that point, through so much press, so many conversations, him and Liang Jing as well. And I will say he was so kind and so gracious. And I know you and I have both worked with a lot of people, sometimes very important people, that are not always very kind and gracious and locked in when they chat to you. And I did want to big that up because he did not have to be as nice as he was. I think congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I mean, it's dark now, but the summer sun did come out for you.
It did. I did see that. It was lovely. What a lovely day it's been.
What's it like bringing the movie back to your home country?
Gorgeous, honestly. I never would have thought it would make it here. I should have in hindsight, seeing as the story is so important here, just as it is in China. But it's beautiful to see so many people in a cinema that I used to go by myself to watch films with my friends. And now a movie that I'm a part of is here. It's incredible. I never would have guessed 4 years ago when I saw June here for the first time.
Nice.
I never would have guessed that my own premiere could have been here.
Amazing.
In 1,000 years.
What's your friends and family's feedback been like? Yeah.
They're actually in there now watching it.
Okay,
and so
you'll find out soon.
I'm waiting to hear back, but I will find out soon, yeah.
Nice. What was the process for developing your character like?
It was tricky, playing a prisoner of war isn't easy, for sure. And I don't think there's any sort of practice you can do to make it as believable as some people assume.
Sure.
And so it was tricky. I mean, there's a lot of movement, a lot of physicality involved. And our background as a swimmer, I think, really contributed to, especially the water shots. But I think what I really tried to portray is the isolation of the character as well. Being stuck in a hold for months, weeks at a time is intense and it's damaging, especially to the brain. And so I tried to play that outside. And I mean, this whole I want to go home thing with Newman is so important because he doesn't quite understand the possibility of that. And I think he thinks it's possible, but he's not quite sure. And so it is one of those where it's a difficult time.
In the world right now, we're seeing conflicts played right in front of us. How do you hope this film helps illuminate kind of what's going on and how we as consumers are reacting to these things?
I've been saying this since day one, since my first audition, that this film, I mean, the thing that drew me to it, apart from the fact it's based on a true story and something I've never heard before, is also the fact that it shows that just like no matter what culture you come from, no matter who you are, we're all human. And I think the most important thing is about a life is a life and coming together. And it's just humanity against brutality, really. So it's very important that people see it.
Of course he's a merman. I mean, if you're filming this film, which is mostly underwater, you've got to be a fish by nature. So that makes sense. He has a swimming background.
I was going to say, how destined was he for that role, given that he had a swimming background?
Lovely that 4 years in his life was so drastically different that he never would have seen this coming. That's really sweet. I guess that tells us all that we never know what is right around the corner. It was intriguing that he was glad that the film had finally got to England, because this film has such a big part in English history, right? But it's coming, I'm guessing it's coming from China, it was commissioned over there. So thanks, China, for bringing this history to light. It's important. But wow, it is kind of shocking to me that it had to come from the place where the rescues originated from to tell people from this country that these people in history were saved by them. Do you know what I mean? It's not, we don't even know about it. So that is wild to me. But I'm glad it came here too.
Do you have any favourite failures?
Favourite failures?
Yes.
Very interesting. It's interesting. I think every audition I go in for that I miss out on is going to be my favourite failures. And there's a lot of them. Nice. And there is a ton of them as an actor, for sure. And any other job, I suppose, as well. But I think the most important thing is that you learn from it and that you don't give up. Because the more you don't give up and other people do, the higher your chances get.
Are there any auditions you missed out on? You're allowed to tell us that you're kind of
Ooh, probably not. A few that aren't even out yet, so I can't quite say. Okay. But I just landed my dream role playing George Washington in a biopic.
Amazing.
So that's coming up next. Nice. So that's one of the dreams. Perfect. And that wasn't a failure. So.
Lastly, if your failure was a little character like an Inside Out, what would it look like?
It would feel like an inside out. He'd be small, purple, and probably long hair, and a little bit like a minion. You know those minions that are purple? I'd see him as that, I think. Maybe with 3 eyes instead of 1.
Interesting answer.
Purple, like the angry anti-minions with the frizzy purple hair.
The scary ones.
With 3 eyes. That is quite scary. That's quite a scary image, actually. I will exchange apple juice.
Okay, solid.
It's just keeping me... you know I'm a water person, really. I'm not that interesting. But I've been vibing with apple juice. Just refreshing. A bit of sugar, but not too much. That's what I'm enjoying right now. What are you enjoying right now, Mads?
I'm going to exchange the prehistoric Carboniferous period.
Nice.
And its cute little scale trees.
Nice.
Because those were fun, and we don't have them now.
Maybe read up on that period whilst drinking apple juice. You could do that, couldn't you?
In it, I won't exchange the mega spiders. They did have these mega millipedes that could grow up to like 3 meters long.
No.
They were herbivores.
No.
But as much as the documentaries I looked into and like, information or whatever that I researched, stated that they are herbivores, like its appearance just, no thank you. No thank you.
I checked out when he said 3 meters. I was like, no, absolutely not. I don't think so. What's your sign-off message for today, Mads?
If you don't feel those music tingles, go see a psychologist. Just have a chat. Just ask them for a little
Just find
chat.
your local psychologist.
Nothing serious. Just tell them how you're feeling about things.
My sign-off message will be, get yourself like a nail buff if you don't have one. Because I feel a lot of people have nail files, but actually a nail buff, I think, is the way to go.
Are you influencing people a bit here?
No. Yes. No, I don't know. I was just thinking, what would I want people to be left with? And I had this literally standing on the table in front of me, and I was like, I didn't poo-poo them, but I didn't take them as seriously as I have done in the past 3 days. And then I got a pack, and actually I do really like them.
I mean, it is a pretty cuboid.
Yeah. So if you're somebody that has a nail file and you're not enjoying it and you think you can do better, maybe a nail buff block is your answer.
Yeah.
But you can pick them up wherever, innit? You can pick them up in Boots and Superdrug, wherever.
You can buff your nails while you tell your psychologist over coffee about how you don't really feel anything inside.
Well, go and check out Dongji Rescue when you are able to. It is a wonderful, meaningful story. So go and check it out if you can. Mads, do you have anything else to add?
Bye!
And thank you as always for listening to another episode of Falling Upwards. We're just waving.
Yeah, no one can see that.